Hello, Soudhakar.
Hi,
Yeah,
nice
hello.
meeting you, Akash. How are you?
You too. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great.
All right. So, our audience will be waiting to get to know more from you and to get to hear more from you and your experience. So, I'll be quickly introducing you to them and then we can get on with some questions. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful session with our esteemed guest over here, Mr. Soudhakar Elumalai. And correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Soudhakar.
No, you can. I think that's the right pronunciation.
Thank you. So, Mr. Soudhakar over here has accumulated over 13 years of experience at this point in the field of data analytics and AI, and he holds key positions in and has held key positions in renowned organizations throughout his career. He's currently leading the global analytics division of an MNC, and he's driving projects across the globe with a customer-centric approach. Now, as the director of data science and analytics at HighRadius, he has successfully led the development of an anomaly detection project and ensured the delivery with very high impact and many other such projects. So during his tenure back in SAP, Soudhakar, I'm sure you have leveraged your expertise in business insights, right, and used technologies such as PySpark, NLP, and many other such associated tools and technologies as well to drive data-driven solutions. So our candidates will be, or our participants will be wanting to get to know more about them. And as a lead business analyst at Flipkart, I'm pretty sure you must have done some wonderful work over there in R, Python, again in NLP, and other such insight-related tools and technologies. And before that, in Dell, right, you worked in competitive intelligence and supported
Yeah,
product planning.
pricing,
Is
pricing, brand, product. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, pricing exactly. Again, it was related to NLP in a way.
See, partially there was NLP, but that's, I would say very, very basic NLP that we were talking about, like text matching kind of
Ah,
things. Yeah.
got that. So, right off the bat, so you have firmly established yourself at this point as a leader in the data science domain in your own capacity. So, what do you believe are the biggest challenges today and the opportunities as well, which are available in the data science field today for maybe young or budding individuals in data science domain?
So, my data science knowledge is also is getting updated as we speak. So, to the best of my knowledge, so not necessarily the gospel truth, I would say, but I have seen, there are, I think there is a transformation that is happening in data sciences. It's not that today we know a bunch of machine learning algorithm that's like know it all or end all. So there is going to be a lot of technical debts that many organizations are facing. So where I would say that thinking like a software engineer, in fact, is a very, very important skill that most of the data science scientist has to pick it up. Okay, because say creating model is one, but making use of it is another thing. So that's when the rubber meets the road. So we have to make that pretty quickly. So most of the times, many people find this the most challenging part, because once it is on the experimental mode, you know that once you get the immediate first results, next you can incrementally improve it as and when we go, right? So that's how the practice is. I mean, it's a very what a very crass way of saying, but I would say, yeah, software development is something that everybody has to know. I would say a full stack developer, someone has to know the end to end. Full stack developer, full stack data scientist is what I would say. A little bit of ML ops is also something that they
Absolutely.
have to know. Yeah. So
And
that's when we can create scalable models, right?
any particular cloud that you would recommend when it comes to maybe the data engineering piece? So, are you an advocate of Azure cloud ecosystem or AWS or GCP or nothing? It's agnostic at this point.
Then it's very hard to choose between three of them, because almost the services are very identical. So start with one. The best cloud is what you start with. Okay,
Right.
so but if at all if you have to give a choice, pick anything like Azure, GCP, and Azure, GCP, and AWS. Between three, you can't go wrong. Okay, so the decision will not be wrong, but pick something and start. That's all.
Absolutely. So, out of all the plethoras of projects that you have done over your career, uh, is there any specific project or maybe it is an initiative or an idea where you really got that thrill of work, where you got that knowledge and greatest amount of growth in terms of thinking about what the customer wants, end customer wants, and how we can best meet that?
Okay, I mean these are like magical moments that happens like once in a blue moon. So I can clearly tell that it is brand index when I was working with Flipkart. So I mean the idea was at a very nascent stage. People were thinking about how about create competition within the platform, because it's an independent platform, so it is for everyone. Okay, it's a very democratic platform. So how can we create the sense of competition between brands, and that will give a huge benefit to the customer, because when two brands are competing, or like hundreds of brands are competing, it will be a celebration, right? So it will turn into a shopping celebration. So we came up with a very even some of the most complicated algorithms couldn't achieve, right? A simple weighted average method of identifying say brand index was able to achieve, and that was quite surprising. And the POC happened in a train travel between Bangalore to Chennai. So I was in the train, I was totally bored, and we were like thinking about it. So I just took Excel and started creating some charts and everything. The idea started coming up and started jamming with my boss and boss. So they are all like very approachable. So I don't need to set up a call with them. So I ping them at really odd times. So we are all like friends. So so therefore I mean, if he makes a mistake, I would talk about that openly, and I make a mistake, of course, he won't spare me, because he will be waiting for that opportunity. It was a fun time. So we all jammed, like within like 2 days we got the complete idea, like end to end, we got the vision. So it's all about asking a data engineer to set up a DB, where we can take the data and then one visualization layer, put it into the app and get it done. And we also had some really top plus product managers. So though we got the idea like end to end, right? Someone has to execute it, right? So the product managers were wonderful, and it was pretty much like a symphony. Like it happened like within 2 months, we were able to like zap everyone. So it was a wonderful team effort. So I cannot take all the credit, but there is some small part which I felt quite excited about it. So this kind of a kick I didn't even get in, say, a very what a complex projects that I've worked on, because this is a business impact. That's what we live for. So from that point of time, my way of looking at data science completely changed. It doesn't matter what do you have a complex solution. Okay, so it's not that. Do you have an impactful solution? If a simple graph solves you the problem, then that's the best solution that you can have.
Perfect, perfectly put. So let's not chase complexity, rather just change impact and the result that it
Yeah,
produces.
yeah. It also reminds me of that Three Idiot example. I think I quoted in multiple places, right? So where the astronaut's pen versus pencil.
Yeah,
So that's what we want. We want a pencil, not an astronaut's pen.
absolutely. So, with the advent of AI, generative AI, ChatGPT, and multiple such models, large language models, etc., how do you see this field as a whole changing, or in general changing? And what will be the impact, in your opinion, in the next 5 years?
Again, it's very hard to guess. Okay, so I cannot be a soothsayer and say, put my finger and say that, okay, this is what is going to happen. But it is interesting times. There are, I mean, if you ask me like 3 years back, and something, which is close to artificial general intelligence is going to come into the picture, probably I would have said, no, it's not going to be perfect, because we have seen NLP. I myself have developed like some NLP, like word, I worked on like Glove or Word to Vec and everything. So at that point of time, it was kind of, it was there, but not this impressive. So whatever I thought was all proven wrong. So I can just give some predictions. But yeah, like all predictions, this is also going to go wrong. But how wrong is the question? So if you have to ask me a prediction, then I think there won't be like a lot of demarcation between, say, this is your specialty. So there might be. I'm it's again visual thinking. So there won't be demarcation between a software engineer, data scientist, or an ML ops or whatever, right? So it will be pretty much like someone who has the idea, and all those executions will all be done through, say, a conversation with a chatbot, and which means that the boundaries are going to blur. And I would say the problem solving skills will be the most
Importance.
sought after skill.
Yeah.
Okay, because you want to ask the right questions, so you have to identify the wrong problem. So now you have a wonderful hammer, but which nail are you going to hit it? This is
Yeah.
going to be the most important question.
I love the analogy over there that you gave at the end. So yes, we don't have much better speed of execution than computers, but we do have better judgment and uh, problem identification skills, at least so far.
At least now, so I can go wrong.
So that's quite interesting. Uh, Talking about speed, right? We all know speed thrills but kills. So in India, particularly talking about generative AI and Chat GPT, and talking about startups, the variety of startups that we had, the unicorns that were bubbling up, and with the volatility of the market, right? Do you think any startups can benefit out of generative AI, and maybe a few ideas that might have even come to your head, which would not have been possible before the world of ChatGPT, but now will be possible for startups at a lower cost because of generative AI models?
There are plenty of them. Maybe this is I mean, since I haven't prepared well, I mean, these are all answers. Someone has to prepare really well to give a good answer. But I will just take a stab at it. So off the bat, what I can think of is always I have this e-commerce brain. Okay, so there are lots of use cases in e-commerce, right? So generative AI would not only means chat. So it also means images, videos, etc. So you are going to see contents that are going to be mind blowing. Pretty much, which means that if I would say that small organizations like small D2Cs, they are going to be empowered by this technology, because right now for advertising, for all you may know, for content creation, the costs are quite high. The content creation costs are going to drastically come down, and it's going to be a level playing field. Whether you're a Prada, or whether you're a Mokabara in India, or you're going to be the next new brand that you're going to prepare, I think the level playing field will be set. From there, it is going to be quite interesting. So we are going to see someone emerging as someone who knows how to use this technology. Right now, everybody has resources, so it's all about whose passion is going to be. So yeah.
Absolutely. So as a whole, like combining your last answer and this one, it seems like the barrier to entry has gone down,
Yes.
both in terms of problem solving and even entry to business and solving business problems. This has made things easier in a way.
Yeah, for that particular use case that I could think of, B2B use case, but there could be like several other use cases. Maybe
Absolutely.
CRM is one place where you can do it. And if I think a little bit deeper, I can talk something very specific about SAP. So SAP is a kind of an organization. They have created so many solutions that even they have forgotten about it.
Absolutely.
Like they have like 3,000 odd solutions for business, which is like comprehensive. I haven't seen anyone who has comprehensively solved it to the level of SAP, right? So, but there has to be a dedicated consultant who has to sit and give this what solution capability is required for a business. For that, we have like hundreds of consultants. Probably you might need less number of consultants to just to
Right.
select the solution, but to do the talking. Okay, so rest of them can do the talk, more of in a customer relationship, rather than going taking an Excel sheet and then filtering out and finding the solution capability. They can just definitely ask a chatbot. I think it's pretty much they must be doing it already, because it's very very simple. You connect the CSV, then you just ask the questions. You prompt about the DB. I think it must have been done by now, by the time we are talking. But
Absolutely.
when I was there, I spent like 3 months to solve half of the problem. But in that, I got a 50% success. So which means the 25% of the problem, probably someone today would have solved it in like 2 days.
That's wonderful to know. Interesting times we are living in.
Yeah, yeah.
So still even with ChatGPT and all, human talent is irreplaceable still. And for building for any company to be successful, there need to be good teams of people who are contributing to the success of the company. So at this position yourself, you must have hired a lot of talent in different organizations or for different roles. So what strategies do you employ to recruit and especially retain skilled data professionals or AI professionals? How do you identify them? How do you distinguish the needle from the haystack and pick the right talent for the right job?
So first, let's start with the hiring, and then what we do after hiring, and how do we manage their exit. So this is what the entire employee life cycle would be, right? First is hiring. So hiring is the most important process because you want to like uh, sift through candidates and identify the best candidate. So one is, of course, HRs will definitely try their level best. They also have tools at their disposal to filter candidates on their whatever keywords are there. Okay, so I mean that's a general operations part. When it comes to interviewing, so the one thing is how much they understand the problem that they've solved. The framework is pretty straightforward. I only look at two things: how much they understand about the problem that they've solved. Number two, if I give a new problem, will they able to solve? This is the framework of any interview is going to be. The first one is quite straightforward. We will ask questions from their experience. Okay, so if you have used XGBoost, so can you tell me what is the idea behind XGBoost? What are the parameters that you use? Okay, so if there is a outlier, will that affect? So these are the kinds of questions that we will be asked, right? So it's a typical data science interview, whatever. And then the next one is, we will give a open statement, open problem. Say, I want to solve this so-and-so problem. You are in insurance, you have an insurance customer. So how are you going to say, identify who is going to buy the insurance, etc. So they can identify, okay, so I can come up with a classification problem. Maybe I can, since it's a class imbalance, then what should I do, etc. So their application skills will come to the fore. So this is the hiring part of it. Again, after they hired, we have to retain the talent. And if the talent is good, we have to definitely retain. And what picks people is a bit different. So this is where my technical skills are of no use. So which should be like, it's more understanding people, right? So for some people, you have to keep challenging them, keep them interested. For some people, money is a motivator. That's nothing wrong in that. For some people, maybe they want to run long. Work-life balance is important for them. So we have to identify what picks them and provide the best possible solution that you have. And again, these are all we know that this is what the category is going to be. Identifying it is easy, but how much can you give is another question. So most of the times you might not have the resources. The best resource that any or unlimited resource a manager that can provide to their team is basically motivating them and inspiring them. If these two are there, automatically there is a premium that goes for their next job. So if they are getting X amount, if they their salary is like X amount, so they will add X plus delta X to their pay. So when someone has to hire them, they have to give some instead of the regular 20% kind of a hike, they have to give, pay harder to get them out of it. So this is how we build the team. So usually and again, it's not like a one day wonder that we are going to become an inspirational leader, right? So we have to show our habits. Okay, so always I always think that habits are much bigger than motivation. So I also take this opportunity to recommend a book written by James Clear, Atomic Habits. Okay, so it's you have to start like one day at a time, and you have to make sure that you have a very strong connection with the team and regular connection with the team, and then inspire them, listen to them. So this way, you can retain the talent. Okay, so that is one unlimited resource that I'm talking about. Other things are limited resource. So how much are you going to get a hike for the team, which you have to fight it out. You have to give data to to your management and say that hey, you know what, this is what my team deserves, etc. And of course, never be afraid to fight. So that's one thing that we try to get the best for the people. And the other thing is, some people like learning, so provide them, what is the best learning that you can provide. So it's not about just putting a bunch of MOOCs and say that your learning is done. No, it's not. It doesn't happen that way. So it has to happen like, say, peer learning is there. There are sessions that you can conduct, make it as interesting as possible. So these are all things which will add to that delta X. So it tends to get what limit tends to infinity, that they say, right? So slowly, it increases. So that is one. And of course, the last part is their exit. So exit, all exits are not the same. Sometimes, if someone gets a better opportunity, as a manager, you have to be happy for them. Okay,
Right.
first thing, you have to be happy for them, right? Because and if they are leaving because that's the next thing that they have got, then probably you are failed as a manager. So that's where we have to think about, say, someone attriting from there, right? So we have to make sure that I mean, with XYZ company, if you're going for the gold standards of AI, so if you're, for example, if you're joining OpenAI, I won't stop them, or I will feel happy about it. Yeah, our people are going to OpenAI or Apple or Google's of the world. So I mean, that's nice. But if you are losing out to, say, anybody, then probably I have to rethink my strategy. So that's my take on these three things.
Absolutely, wonderfully put. And you have shared your personal anecdote, I can feel like, regarding how to retain the talent particularly. And you have correctly spoken that it is all about individuality, feeling what gets them going, and then also having that continuous connect with them, understanding their pain points and addressing them. It's really crucial, especially in this day and age when attrition can be really high sporadically and competition is also quite a few in number. So, uh, when it comes to rapid advancement, as we spoke about competition, there is a lot of rapid advancement also going on in the field of AI. You mentioned that you are also currently updating your data science knowledge. So, how do you personally stay updated with the latest trends, developments, and technologies in the field of AI? How do you decide where to invest your time in? Maybe something is budding but might not be a potent technology 2 years down the line. So, how do you identify that? And also for your team and people who are under your guidance, how do you give them advice or recommendation on what to pursue?
Okay. So one thing that I do is, I don't generally follow what is the trend, because usually,
Yes.
again, forecasts are wrong, like I
Right.
already told. And every day, I spend, there is something called as one time that I have. That every day, I spend 1% for, which is basically 15 minutes
Hmm.
time that I always consistently put it on my calendar. And that 15 minutes I spend on learning, relearning, understanding the basics. Once you understand the basics, or revisiting the basics, you have to be like, it's like watching a movie, right? So if you like say, there are some classics are there. So when
Hmm.
you watch them like once, you don't get enough of it. So you have to watch like multiple times. So that's what the basics are about. Every time you see something new, it gives a new idea. Even this LLM is not something that popped out of somewhere else, right? So it's all already there. So the fundamentals has to be clear. So if you're clear with the fundamentals, I think on building on top of it will be easier. And again, you have to love what you're doing. Say, for example, the moment I lose my love for data sciences, then probably now I would change my career path. Still, I think I love data sciences and I want to still compete with, I mean, a newly joined full stack data scientist for his technical skills, because that's how much I love doing data science. So until unless we have that love. So my advice is also, don't do AI because everybody else is doing. Okay, so do it because you like to do it.
Right. So you mentioned about data science that you still love to do it. You like to be competitive still. How did you get into this field? What made you come into this field? What inspired you and what keeps you going still?
And it all started with my childhood itself. So my love for mathematics started there. So me and my brother used to fight for two things. One is cricket, and another is mathematics. Who is a better mathematician? but I know that he is a better mathematician than me. But still, the fight goes on. At least I put up a good fight, and then I started. In fact, I flunked in statistics when I was in my undergrad. So which in fact affected my ego a little bit. So I used to think myself as a great mathematician or whatever. So when you get flunked in statistics, it just you cannot digest that fact and everything. And then that again I started retrying that same examination for my engineering. So at that point of time, I one thing that I realized was, first time when I learned it, I was really thinking about the examination and I was trying to clear the examination. I didn't try to enjoy it. Second time when I learned, and thankfully, we had a longer study holidays and everything. So I started realizing and I started loving it. Then I become then combined with two. I don't know in what world someone will take that. I mean, it's the second best score that I got in statistics. So my ego got boosted up a little bit. so
Wonderful.
that, so yeah. So, from that point of time, again in my MBA, I started doing well in all the statistics and started enjoying those numbers. So I even forgot about whether I'm number one or number two or number three. So which I totally forgot, but I was doing well. I mean, marks were like really good, like ace grade and all those things. They call it the topmost grade in IIT. But somewhat, I loved doing it. Okay, so the love affair started there. Then after that, the next logical step is, I initially used to tell that when you do an MBA, you become a manager. That much, and that's all I knew. But after doing this, I said that why not a career in analytics, because I'm good with numbers. At least that's what I convinced myself. So and I love doing it. So why can't I do it? So it was a perfect match. Then from that point of time, I got opportunity to work in product, but somehow I didn't want to go there. Okay, I always loved doing data science. Or I mean, initially it was called as analytics, but it was not even called as data science. So data science happened only in what 2010 or somewhere about 2011, 12. Before that, it's all analytics. Thomas Davenport written a book called Competing with Analytics. So at the time, the data science word is not a buzzword. Then data science came, machine learning was another buzzword. Then deep learning came. It's all trend, but fundamentally, I love numbers, so that's how I got into this.
So you remain faithful to the field all throughout.
Yeah, I mean till now.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So how do you navigate this delicate balance in your line of work now that you are at a higher position between making data-driven in decisions and your gut feeling, intuition? Because we as humans have this unique capability of having a gut feeling, although we don't know why, but why we feel something a certain way, but we do feel. So how do you balance between the two in important times or at important junctures in your career?
Again, initially, it was a very big dilemma. Okay, so the gut feel and the what numbers showing, I think it was a very difficult part for me to balance at the beginning of my career, because at that time the tools and techniques and the test time was much longer. Okay, so today, if I have that gut feel, I can immediately do an A/B test, right? Or
Right.
if not an A/B test, some other experimentation is actually faster. Say if you're asking me about 2010 or 2011, so usually it takes a very long time to test your hypothesis. So nowadays it is very easy to test your hypothesis. So now I strongly believe that gut feel is good. That means you have a very good hypothesis. So first test it. If you test it, then it's as good as your gut, and your numbers are all in the same place. Okay, so that way you don't need to balance it. It's all about the sequence. First comes the gut, then you know what test you have to make, and then you'll get a result. So then it will be in a perfect harmony. So this is valid for updated post 2012, I would say. So before that, you have to balance it. But at the time, I didn't think I did a great job in balancing. So always, my numbers are numbers. I was
Mhm.
that kind of a person. Now, okay.
So you went by the numbers logic always.
Yeah. Most of the times, yeah, if you have numbers, then that means you have all the ammunition, right? So Can't
Absolutely.
tell, but
They say, right, numbers don't lie.
but liars figure. So figures don't lie, liars figure. So sometimes, yeah, yeah, it has a lots of side effects also. So I was also at the receiving end. Maybe like some of the failure stories are also there. So there was some one of the analysis, who is going to buy this XYZ phone. For that, I created some classification model, and I was like super confident on top of it, but it didn't do well. And later realized that probably, I was overfitting the model. At that point of time, I didn't understand what is overfitting. So did a big mistake of that. So people would be knowing, right? You think that training accuracy, those kinds of fundamental errors I've done. So from that, I've learned it. So I mean, when you get such confident, high accurate numbers, you'll tell, yeah, I'm right. So probably your 10 years of experience doesn't mean anything. So I'm right, kind of a thing. But later, yeah, you over a period of time, you also age, you become smarter or wiser. You'll know that, okay, so maybe there could be some merit to someone's experience. So I mean, those things that I'm slowly getting to understand. But yeah.
Absolutely. So, for the last question, what advice would you have given to a younger self of yours? And for the young participants that we have over here, what skills would you say are the top three when it comes to learning data science and getting started with a career?
Okay, so first is start. That's what I will say. So more you, you delay, something or the other is going to happen. So, like I said, there is no, it's never late to start. Okay, start it right away. Okay, have a plan. So I do have a study plan. Even now, I do have a study plan. So I have an Excel sheet that I handle. Like, this is what I want to complete it like within 90 days or 100 days. So I do have a study plan. So similarly, have a study plan, have an expected date, but make sure that you, if you are not progressing as you like to progress, it is okay. But at least progress every day. It's all about, it's not about, learning data science like 1 hour a day. It's about, opening your laptop, opening the site, whatever, like say, for example, if you're doing a Coursera or a data camp or a Udacity or Udemy, whatever it is. Okay, so all are good contents. There is no lack of content in the market. There are some fantastic YouTube channels, which in fact give some really free contents. So whatever that you are doing, the first thing is open your laptop, open that link, and spend 2 minutes. After that, you decide you want to continue or not, and that has to be a habit. Okay, like do that like 100 times, and then you will definitely know that 102 minutes is 200 minutes of data science itself. You will at least you will know about scikit-learn at least. Okay, so I think that's the first and foremost thing. That's the only advice that I would give. When I have to look back myself and give an advice, I think I see there is only one common advice that I can think of. It's not like very specific to data science, for anything. One thing that I have realized is it's all about discipline and all about continuity. So if I have to tell to myself, have a routine. Because when I was in my undergrad or postgrad, I never had a routine. So every day, if there is a class, I will wake up early. If there is no class, I sleep longer, indulge in the sleeping time. So there is no plan on what I'm going to eat, whether I'm going to exercise, whether I'm going to. So there is no routine. So when you have a routine, some of the decisions that you make in life reduces. So which means you have more time to think about your life. Okay, so I never had a routine for a very, very long time. Only recently I started picking it up. So when you have an opportunity, create a routine. So once you create a routine, then things will start falling into the place. You can achieve things. You'll definitely have time to think, achieve things. So that's the only advice that I would give to my young self. And if you want to ask, say, something in a very specific to data science, then probably, if you're an aspirant, yeah, have a study plan first. Okay. So, and again, it should be like, you have to be merciless in terms of prioritizing. Okay. So there is you should not start with, okay, so there is an LLM. I have to start with an LLM. No, first start with the fundamentals. So I know that in LLM is something that you need immediately, but you need discipline. So start with something like understand, just understand matrix multiplication to start, right? So have a study plan, slowly progress towards it. If the, until unless you're progressing, it's okay. I mean, delay is fine. I'm totally okay with the delay, but progress each day. That's all I would say.
Absolutely. Perfect. I think this is simple but powerful advice for the participants over here. And you have shared a Pandora's box of experience and wisdom with us, Soudhakar. Thank you so much for that. It was really a pleasure talking to you and getting to know nuggets of wisdom from you, personally as well,
Sure.
and on behalf of our audience. Thank you for taking out the time of your day and for being here with us. Hope to discuss again someday soon with you.
Yeah, definitely, Akash. Thank you so much. Always Futuresense has been a wonderful host, all asking the thought-provoking questions, and sometimes I feel at ease to answer that. And yeah, it's usually fun, so I enjoy coming here. But the only thing is, time is, again, what I have to prioritize in a day comes in. So I won't say no, I don't have time, but yeah, the prioritization, there are like few other things that gets prioritized. But definitely, your Futuresense is definitely there in the list right above. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. We would love to host you again sometime soon, and have a happy weekend.
Thank you. You too. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.